Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of Everything Cheyenne Frontier Days podcast. I'm your host, Cody Sosebee. I'm the rodeo clown here at Cheyenne Frontier Days, joined by my guests, Dusty Tuckness and Cody Webster.
A part of Western history, a legend walking tall. Cheyenne Frontier Days, the daddy of all.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello, Sos.
Right. So today on the podcast, we're just going to ask you guys some questions and let people that might not know you or that may know you get to know a little bit more about you. What it's like fighting bulls at the Cheyenne Frontier Days, what it's like to be in that arena, what it's like to be at the daddy of them all compared to other rodeos. So, Dusty, you grew up in Wyoming. I'll let you go first. Obviously, you have seen every side of Frontier Days growing up as a kid, and now you get to live out your dream being in the rodeo.
Yeah, I can remember back when I was a kid. I mean, obviously for me, it always goes back to the movie 8 Seconds, and Cheyenne was just such a monumental rodeo and a place to be. And growing up as a kid, it was someplace where not only I as a kid wanted to be, but kids to this day still want to be here and participate or be hired to in a position to be here at CFD and Cheyenne Frontier Days. So for me, when I got the opportunity back in 2012, man, it was literally a dream come true, coming from the great state of Wyoming. And you know, this is the large outdoor rodeo of the year several times. And man, it's just a feather in everybody's hat they want to be a part of. And it's a true blessing to be a part of. You know, I think we're going on 12, 13 years now here at CFD. And this is the best place to be in July.
Prior to the podcast, I thought, I think this is about my 18th year of being either at the rodeo or the night show. When the CBR was here, worked it a couple years, and it's flown by. And I was laughing when I was trying to do a little studying up on the podcast. I don't know. It just seems like we've been here forever. And Webb, you would be the youngest guy of the group. When did you come into the rotation at the daddy of them all?
I'm pretty sure 2016 was the first year that I came here. Salinas 14, Woodward.
Yep.
Yeah. So in 2016, you know, I remember exactly where I was. I was out checking cows on a 4-wheeler, and I got a Cheyenne number call. And anyways, long story short, I get the voicemail, and it's, you know, they're wanting to offer me a job at Cheyenne Frontier Days. And I just remember not being able to get that 4-wheeler back to the house fast enough. And then, you know, like you said, the nerves hit, you know something's coming. And, you know, Dusty and I had already been, you know, made the NFR, you know, 2 or 3 times together at that point, and had been working the rodeo at Cody and Casper, Wyoming, you know, so like we've been traveling around, you know, but to get that call to be a part of the Frontier Days, I mean, there's so much that goes beyond that call, you know, and like Dusty said, you know, watching the 8 Seconds, the Lane Frost, and you know, being 11, 12 years old and going to the arena that Lane Frost built, you know, becoming really good friends with his parents, all that being kind of tied into the dirt here at Cheyenne Frontier Days. I mean, it hit solid.
Well,
really
on top
did.
of that too, I knew what Cheyenne's decision was already going to be at the time. So I was just, you know, it's those type of moments though that I didn't want to go up to Webb and say, "Hey man, get ready for July." Like I wanted him to experience that phone call just like I did. And it's kind of funny because he got back to the house and he kind of read it on my face. He's like, "You son of a gun, you knew." And I was like, "Yeah, I knew." You know, I said, "We're going to go have a lot of fun." And in my mind, you know, kind of show him something that they've never seen.
A lot of fun and a lot of pain.
And so it was great to see that for him, you know, because I got to relive it again a little bit, you know, when I got that call. And, you know, this team that we got here, you know, with you, Sos, and the Barrel, and we just have so much fun here. And I've always said Cheyenne is more than just a rodeo. It's an experience. From the arena to the night shows to the carnival to just everybody that's here, the committee, the volunteers, man. When we get here, we look forward to this one every year. There's a lot of great rodeos, and we're so thankful and blessed for each and every one that we get to work. But man, especially for me, coming from Wyoming, it is just truly such a blessing to be a part of this and this team that we got here at CFD.
To be in that little locker room to be walk down the hallway into the arena where Quail Dobbs, for me, had walked out there, where Flint Rasmussen had been there before me, and just
Wickpath.
Wickpath,
Talk about
Bull
some
Dancer.
you start talking about the greatest of the greats. We're getting to follow in their footsteps and knock out the same tracks they did, and I just can't hardly wrap my head around it. I never just think, oh gosh, here we go, Cheyenne's next week. I mean, your hair starts standing up on the back of your neck, mouth gets dry. When you're part of history that's been in the making 128 years, and so it's when we say we're blessed and it's an honor, it has been every single time we walk in there. And
my first time at CFD was Dwayne Hargo and Rick Chapman and Quell in the barrel. So that was really cool for me. My dad being a rodeo clown, so I looked up to Quell a lot, looked up to Chapman and Hargo, some world champions in the freestyle world. And, I got to work this, with a guy that just got inducted in the Hall of Fame, Daryl Diefenbach, 12-time NFR bullfighter, and Mike Matt. It was a blessing to be able to work with them guys and be a part of that. But, I remember Webb, he'd go over there and kick their tail in Salinas in the bullfights, and he'd swing through for a perf or two on his way to Burwell. And I just had a good feeling that one day that, me and Webb always had that, desire to work more together. And I've said it a lot, and I'm not hesitant to say it to anybody. There's a chemistry between Webster and I that I think second to none, and we feed off it. I know he's not going to let me down. He knows I'm not going to let him down, and we feed off that. And it's just an energy that I can't put to words. And when I knew we were going to get the chance to get Webster here, I was really excited. Like I said, I was blessed to work with those great guys that come before me.
Cowboys, rodeo cowboys, bullfighters, pickup men, everybody I know that works here at Cheyenne, I think we have a special. Chuck Lopeman, he's been here 300 years. I mean, he's the original OG, that with the sound and started that. He would Austin, his boy, who now runs all the music for the show, he used to stand on a little apple crate up there when Chuck would take a break during the show, and Austin would sit up there in the computer and play music. Now he's over the whole thing, and we're talking just the pickup men. Some of their boys are getting a pickup with them here, and Cheyenne's a big family, traditional function. The 3,000 plus volunteers, their heritage goes, their families, their grandparents volunteered here, their great grandparents volunteered here, and it's such a unique and special thing. It's not just us; it's every aspect of the show. Obviously, besides it being the daddy of them all and the monstrosity of how big the show is, what sets this Fighting Bulls apart from Fighting Bulls at another rodeo or another arena?
I mean, just kind of touching on it earlier, like there is something magical, that stepping out there, and I don't know if it's the daytime perfs and just the way the sunlight is, but everything just kind of has a little bit more oomph on it for me, walking through that gate. But there's just so many different emotions. You're rolling in here. You've got, Stay Smith with Smith Pro Rodeo. You've got the very best stock that can be assorted for this event. So when you have that mixed in, you got the very best guys coming. When you talk about Cheyenne, everybody's eyes lights up. Everybody wants to put on their sunshades, and everybody wants to make that great ride here at this arena. And like I said, I think all that combined together. But I know for us, it's the chemistry that we got. It's the just literally getting to live out a dream. That's something that we've been dreaming of since we're just little kids. So I know for me that's the biggest part. But also too, it's a yearly gut check. And I can't speak for you guys, but I know for myself, walking through that gate, knowing that 30 something years ago, this is where D. Lane Frost made his last ride. This is it. And again, knowing the family, being in that arena, it's a yearly gut check that if I'm not 100% in, and I'm not giving everything that I've got to be the best that I can be, you check all emotions at the gate. You have to, because not only am I dealing with myself or you in the barrel or my partner, but there's bull riders that are putting their name on our backs to keep them safe, you
Yeah,
know, and I think that
100%.
that's uh, the biggest gut check that I have of the year is walking through that gate and knowing, because I mean, Lane Frost is all of our heroes, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
is this is it, it gives me goosebumps
Yeah, it
thinking about
does.
it, you know.
It's one of my favorite things. I get friends and family come out here, and one of my favorite things to do after shows is take them down the alley and take them out in the arena and just let them stand in the middle of the arena. You know, my dad was a pickup man, mom was a barrel racer, and I grew up in rodeo and competed and been in every kind of arena all over the country. But when you go stand in the middle of that arena, the hair will stand up on your neck, you know, and you think of just all the cowboys and all the champions that wear that.
Well, to go back, you know, behind the chutes there, so's where all those benches are.
Yeah.
You know, every champion of every event, their name tag is
They're plated.
plated,
Yeah. Yeah.
embedded into those
Yeah.
benches. So you can go find the absolute. I mean, Wick
Wick
Peth.
Piss on there and Louis Field and, you know, some of my, Wayne Herman, Deb
Oh, yeah.
Greeno, you know, guys that were my rodeo heroes growing up in bareback riding, you know, they're on the benches back there. And now my name's on the benches there with Flint.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's just unimaginable, but we know we're blessed with a great job. I think, it is a job. We're going to work and we're paid to do it, but it's like we're getting to live out the dream,
Mhm.
you know, and a lot of pressure comes with that. And like you
Ton
say,
of
those
pressure.
guys, those bull riders, I've never seen. I've got the best seat in the house, so I'm in the barrel, and I get to watch you two guys work, and to watch how y'all work these bulls. You know, there'll always be an argument with bulls ranker now. Are they faster? Are they meaner? Whatever. But you guys head and tell them it's amazing the job you do, and I'm glad it's getting to be seen more online and TV and stuff now. The internets will pick up real quick. You know, people will start bragging, and y'all won't say this, but I'll say it. Like people say, you want to see a class or you want to see a lesson in bullfighting. What, you know, turn on Cheyenne Frontier Days and watch Webb and Tuck. You know, and I mean that's cool, but it's true too. Yeah, and it's every day, whether it's muddy, whether
Mhm.
it's mean bulls, easy bulls, muleys, horn
Beat
bulls.
up, broken
I
bones.
think I think Blue Jeans said it best. He said they all y'all treat them all the same.
Mhm.
You're gonna spin them up and spin them around and do whatever it takes and get those guys.
And I think the biggest compliment that maybe we've got, you know, is you know, sitting there in the arena. We just got done with that set of bulls,
Yeah.
and who's it that rode up?
Frank
Frank
Thompson.
Thompson. You know, a guy that's been here for so many years, has seen all the bullfighters come through. He's seen everybody go. And I think the biggest compliment that we got is he rode up and I thought, man, he's like, hey, we need to talk. And I'm like, what do we do? You know, are we in trouble?
Yeah.
And he said, he shook our hands and he said, I just want y'all to know that y'all have made this rodeo so much better, because the way we work them bulls, and a lot of people may want to argue that we're overdoing it or we're, you know, we're working these bulls too much. But if we can keep them bulls contained right there in front of that outgate, and it might take a couple more wraps to get over to the outgate because there's so many chutes. But by the time we reach that outgate, that bull's ready to exit the arena.
Mhm.
And it just makes the show go so much faster because the bulls aren't just running off to the back end and then the pickup men are
Yeah.
having to deal with them. You know, that
Well, it
was,
allows
to me,
them-
that was the biggest compliment.
If we don't get them set up and their head up to wheel out to the out gate, it allows enough time for them pick man to ride in, and if they're at least they're hemmed up close enough to where they can get a rope on and get them out. So I mean, that's the chemistry, and that's just cattle savvy, and obviously, you know, we have a lot of fun with it, and we enjoy it. You know, I think, you know, anybody
Especially if
that
we can get
watches-
one set up and get one jumped again this
yeah,
year.
you know, that's, I think, you know, people that have watched this,
Well-
I think they truly believe that we do enjoy it.
What you guys do, y'all make bullfighting look easy here, and you know, but people can watch it, and I mean, you can have a big old high horn bull spinning around, hooking and fighting, and then y'all are laughing and kind of making a fool of them a little bit, you know, so to speak. I think that y'all do your best work here at this show. There's that old side, the side buck and shoots, and I mean, there's a lot of work to be done.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of them that just buck and buck the guys off and go to the strip and shoot. You guys have to turn them, fight them, turn them back, get the cowboy away safe, fight them again. I mean, you're
A lot
some
going on.
some rodeos you may just make 1 or 2 passes and move along. And here each bull gets 3 or 4 moves, and it's just amazing to watch. That's why I tell all my friends, I was like, you have to come see it. You just got to come watch it. Will you go to bulls any different when you would another rodeo? Do y'all have game plans going in? I mean, I'll always ask you guys, hey, is any juice in this round or whatever? And do y'all just,
It don't matter.
it
Yeah,
don't matter.
we don't really try to, obviously this arena's different, but at the end of the day, we're fighting bulls. We're keeping guys safe and keeping each other safe as well as yourself. So we don't necessarily train any different or come to this arena any different mindset other than, obviously it's a big arena. There's a lot going on. There's 6 pickup man. There's a lot more people out in the chutes. Not to mention this is the one arena that we can be bucking a bull and there's 1 or 2 bulls still in the arena. So you got to keep your
You
head on
gotta
a
have your head
swivel.
on a swivel.
Head on a swivel.
But at the end of the day, for me, and I feel, Webb would agree, is, the hard work is when we're not in the arena. We're preparing, we're watching film, we're working out, we're studying. So when we step into the arena, the hard work's done. We can just
Yeah,
go have fun
work's
and
done.
apply it,
Yeah.
and that's, I think, one thing I tell a lot of kids at schools or guys that have even been going is like, if you step in that arena second guessing yourself or worrying if you're ready, then you're obviously not. So you got to put in the time and the work prior to that, because this isn't just a 1 week, or 2, 3 weekends a month. Like this is, we're already over 100 performances with another 50, 60 performances of the year. And just to talk to the magnitude on Cheyenne, this is kind of the pivot point of the year. We got
Mhm.
2 months left of the season.
Yeah.
Everybody at this point, has been beat up or is coming back, or this is kind of the defining moment of the season to see who punches their ticket
Yeah.
into the finals. So
Yeah, I
there's a
agree.
lot of pressure going on, which I've always said pressure is a privilege, and you really start seeing people fall into place coming this time of the year. And for us, already having over 100 performances set in, this is a point. And talking about the exposure that this rodeo it got a lot of exposure before the Cowboy Channel. But I believe this was the first big rodeo that really got publicized on the Cowboy Channel, and so there was a lot of eyes that really got directed to
Yeah.
CFD. And like you said, people when they turn on the TV, there's certain rodeos that when they're playing in the year that they're dang sure tuning into, but Shine is definitely one of them.
It's been cool to see how people watch. Used to you could kind of, well, if I hadn't have broke my ankle and so, I'd have been at Cheyenne or I'd have been out there. And you get a bunch
That's the
of
old cell barn.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I sit there and I think, most of the time I just listen to that. But I get to watch, you 2 guys. I think y'all the very best of the best, and get to see you fight bulls here. And it, it's hard. Everybody would want to come here, uh, but I'm telling you, the workload of it, the pressure of it, it's the real deal and stuff. So
Well, even to brag on you a little bit, so I was talking to somebody the other day in the rodeo that we was at, and they're like, how's he get along there? And I say, man, when we get up in the morning, it's either parade or pancake breakfast. Then you got to go straight to a meeting, and you don't slow down until it's almost night show time, which is almost dark. So there's
Yeah.
12 straight hours that you're up on your feet and going, and that's one
Yeah.
thing I don't think a lot of people understand about this rodeo, because there's so much going on from the track and Kyle announcing the track and Jurgen in the announcer stand and the wild horse race and all the events and the carnival and everything going on, that you're blown and going from first sun up to when the sun goes down. So I
Yeah,
credit
it's a
that a
lot.
lot of you for 2 weeks of doing that. And like you said, there's a lot of people that want to step out there and do some of these jobs, but they don't fully understand what it all
Yeah.
entails and what it takes to get the job done.
Well, and
I-
just last year, I mean, what was it, first or second perf? That bull run over you and stepped on your
first
leg.
perf. Yeah, it stomped me down good. And
I mean, that just
mm-hmm.
it can be a really good week or it can be a really, really
Yeah.
long week.
Well,
you know?
just reflecting on last year, first perf, I get mucked down, stomped down, and about perf 6, my legs started feeling a lot better. We get to short round, all the money on the line, and Webb just doing Webb stuff. Had a great gap on Picket Man and Burris's, and T. Hutch in the short round made a great ride. He stepped in there with no hesitation, and bull tripped him up, and that's a big dude, and Webb just couldn't quite get to his feet before he whacked him again and stepped right in his guts and broke 4 ribs. And guess what? 2 days later, we got to be at another rodeo. So it's a lot to take in, but he jumped back up. Thankfully we only had a couple bulls left, and when you're held against the fence and basically all odds are against you and you're beat up and battered, you come to find out yourself, but people as they see it as well, as how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
And it's those defining moments for me, when whether it's been in my career, watching Webb's, or your career, when that's when you go, okay, this guy's legit. This guy's for real.
I'll be honest with you. There's days, halfway through, I'm tired, several 12 days, or 12-hour days, and roll my barrel out there. I'm like, it's funny to say we're doing comedy, but we got a gut check and, pull it all together. But these people travel all over the country to come to Cheyenne Frontier Days. They pay a lot of money for the ticket.
Yeah.
They want the full experience. And, I don't want to be the weak link, and I want them to,
Get the full experience.
Right. And I might go down into my barrel and just get a deep breath and come back and, look down all those chutes, see the horn sticking up over the chutes and thinking, oh my gosh, here we go. And, but at the same time,
buckle up, because we're coming to you.
I know it is. So I'll go into some of my favorite. I want to ask you about if you can come up some of your top favorite times here, in the arena. What would you think some of your?
Man, for me, I would have to say my first time working here, Daryl Diefenbach, he got hurt, and they called me in to come in and fill in with him and Mike Matt to finish out in 2012. And my first section of bulls that I got to work, when Hal Burns still had his card. If anybody knows Hal Burns and the Burns company, they were notorious for bulls at buck, but really would hook and play rodeo. And my first section of bulls that I got to work here was from the string of Hal Burns. And that to me was, I felt like I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof, could have walked on water that day. And it was just a memory that I'll really never forget, just due to the fact of, hey, I'm at CFD, I'm at Cheyenne, and I'm getting to work with a Hall of Famer and a 4-time world champion bullfighter, and we got a 12 chutes full of what they say in the parade, little hook ass, and so that was a pretty cool moment for me in Cheyenne Frontier Days.
What about you, Webb? Any
and
certain rides, hang ups, any hookings?
Yeah, the very first year I got to come, Josh Frost rode that gray bull right there and made a great ride, but then hung up. And I remember just it was like I was slid in there and already into position before I even knew what I'd done, So I remember that really heavily. But the cool thing that really sticks out to me, and it might have been year 2 or year 3, but, I remember walking back there and it had kind of been clouding up, and I just remember all the old men that, are still back there, that are still helping, the volunteers. And when I remember them guys going, it's monsoon season, the rains are coming. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, whatever. I don't know how many, I think we had 1 or 2 dry performances that whole entire CFD.
Yeah.
And when I say the arena looked like a lake, it's weird to say, but when there's water sitting on the ground here, it looks like a lake. It's the best footing, you know? And I mean, for everybody that's outside looking in probably thinks, man, these guys are crazy. We're out there spinning bulls, fighting bulls, going to the barrel, literally in the lake. But the footing here is amazing. But I just remember that was kind of the surreal moment of, hey, this is Frontier Days.
I got a quick story on you, though. Sosebee here in Cheyenne, it's a big arena, so he's out there a little ways. And so he's out of his barrel, and Cannon Acey was on this bull. He bucks him off. I step in there, and he leaves me, and I remember looking, and I looked out in the deep water, and you were standing behind the barrel. And I was like, oh, no. So I go running out there. Well, Sosebee does perfect. He gets set over on the outside of the barrel, and you were going to step him over. And I'm like, oh, he's got it. So I'm trotting. And then as Sosebee sets him up, instead of going back behind the barrel, he jumps away from the barrel. And at that moment, I'm like,
I could have died.
I'm going to see somebody die here.
Yeah.
And I
could've
took
died.
off even faster, and the grace of God, that bull just split you and the barrel. And I believe they put a graphic up of you as Hercules on the big screen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Let's stay in the barrel this year.
Yeah.
So
Well, in that particular day, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just being an idiot. But all right, guys, it's good to have you on the podcast. The 5th episode. Look forward to the upcoming week at Cheyenne Frontier Days. You guys got any closing anything to say?
thanks for having us on, man. Tuck, just as well as anybody, if you haven't been to Cheyenne Frontier Days,
get here.
it's the full experience, man. There's something for everybody.
Daddy of them all. Let's go.
Western history, a legend walking tall. Cheyenne Frontier Days, the daddy